The journey to Stalingrad was a descent into a frozen nightmare. You step off the train into a skeletal ruin. Stalingrad, late 1942. The air bites with a ferocity that steals your breath, freezing it on your face. The city is a graveyard of jagged brick and twisted steel, blanketed in relentless snow. Every step is a gamble. Rubble, frozen bodies, and hidden shells lie beneath the white shroud. Silence dominates, broken only by the howling wind and distant gunfire. The cold is a living enemy, seeping through your thin greatcoat, numbing your hands and slowing your thoughts. Tanks stand frozen, the Volga a solid expanse of white, the city a monochrome wasteland. No civilians, no birds, just shuffling soldiers, gaunt and hunched. You realize quickly, the fight here is not just against the Red Army but against winter itself. The ground is treacherous, your gloves useless against the cold. The cold is everywhere, draining your core, slowing your mind. Even the sounds of war are muted by the oppressive freeze. This is not just a battlefield, it's a frozen tomb. Welcome to Stalingrad. In Stalingrad, the cold was a physical attacker, breaking the body piece by piece. Every breath stabbed your lungs with icy needles. Exhaled moisture froze instantly on your face. Fingers and toes surrendered first, numb, clumsy, useless for even simple tasks. Removing gloves for a moment could cost you your fingers. Shivering was constant, burning precious energy you didn't have. Sleep was impossible. Nights were endless, trembling ordeals. Huddling with comrades offered little warmth. The cold found its way through every layer. Hypothermia crept in, thickening your blood, slowing your movements, clouding your mind. Thinking became difficult, your body shutting down from the inside out. The cold didn't just freeze your skin, it froze your will to survive. In Stalingrad, the cold was the deadliest enemy. Hunger and cold formed a deadly partnership in Stalingrad. Cut off by Soviet encirclement, the German 6th Army starved. Rations dwindled to sawdust bread and watery soup. With no fuel for warmth, shivering burned through what little energy remained. Soldiers became walking skeletons, uniforms hanging from emaciated frames. Food, when it arrived, was frozen solid. Bread had to be hacked apart. Sausage was a frozen club. Eating was painful. Teeth broke on frozen rations. Men risked sniper fire for bark or roots, slaughtered horses, scavenged anything edible. Hunger hollowed the body, making the cold even more unbearable. The mind obsessed over food and warmth, unattainable luxuries. The pain of hunger and the bite of cold became a unique torture. In Stalingrad, hunger meant you were already freezing to death. The body's furnace was out. The cold finished the job. Survival was a daily, losing battle. The cold inflicted wounds as cruel as any bullet. Frostbite began with numb, waxy skin. Then flesh turned blue, then black, hard and brittle. Pain followed numbness, then gangrene. A foul infection creeping up limbs. Amputation was the only treatment, often done in filthy cellars without anesthetic. Many let frozen limbs fall off on their own. Trench foot set in from weeks in wet, filthy boots. Feet swelled, blistered, and decayed. Nerves and muscles died. Infection spread. Stalingrad rot was the grim nickname for this breakdown of the body. Aid stations reeked of gangrene and disease. Men watched themselves decompose. It was a slow, agonizing living death. Bullets brought quick ends. The cold brought drawn-out torture. In Stalingrad, the body rotted before it died. Survival meant finding shelter, anywhere, at any cost. The open steppe was a death sentence. Soldiers burrowed into ruins, cellars, and holes. Cellars were crowded, dark, and foul, filled with smoke from burning scraps. Men huddled together for warmth. Sleep was fitful and upright. Sanitation was non-existent, corners became latrines, lice infested everyone. Lice bites tormented men and spread deadly typhus. Disease ran rampant among the starving, weakened soldiers. Men risked sniper fire for firewood, stripped clothing from the dead. The weak were pushed from the fire, left to freeze in the shadows. Survival instincts overpowered comradeship. Warmth was a resource to be fought for, not shared. In Stalingrad, shelter was both sanctuary and hell. The cold waged war on the mind as much as the body. Hypothermia slowed thoughts, clouded memory, and made simple tasks impossible. Soldiers became apathetic, disoriented, sometimes sitting in the snow, oblivious to danger. Hopelessness set in. No relief, no escape, only more cold and hunger. The will to live evaporated. Men stared blankly, spirits crushed. Hunger drove some to madness. Comradeship dissolved. Food was stolen, the weakest left to starve. There were dark accounts of cannibalism, a final breakdown of discipline and humanity. Hallucinations blurred reality. Men talked to the dead or imagined warmth. Some wandered into the snow, stripping off clothes in a final, fatal delirium. The mind abandoned all constructs. Only survival mattered. The cold stripped away, not just flesh, but sanity. In Stalingrad, the mind froze before the body. In Stalingrad, death came in two forms. A bullet or shell brought swift, impersonal ends, sometimes even a relief. But the cold was a slow executioner, stripping away feeling, strength, and sanity. It forced men to witness their own decay, hour by hour. Death by cold was certain, a matter of when, not if. Every day was a battle to delay the inevitable. The cold was everywhere, air, ground, marrow. It wore down hope and resilience, offering no chance for heroism. The end was quiet, undignified, and lonely, a slow fade into frozen sleep. In Stalingrad, the cold was the patient predator. Survival was just postponing the final freeze. By early 1943, the true victor in Stalingrad was clear: General Winter. Of 285,000 Axis soldiers, only 91,000 surrendered. Most died from cold, starvation, and disease. The cold achieved what months of fighting could not. Surrendering soldiers were specters, emaciated, frostbitten, barely able to walk. Many died on the march to prison camps, collapsing in the snow, abandoned to freeze. Of those who surrendered, only about 5,000 ever returned home. The cold continued its harvest long after the guns fell silent. Stalingrad's legacy is dual, a turning point in war and a lesson in nature's power. The German war machine was broken not just by bullets, but by winter. The cold was the silent weapon that destroyed the Sixth Army. In the end, the battle's soundtrack was a slow, freezing execution. Stalingrad stands as a chilling reminder. An army's greatest enemy may not carry a rifle. The failure to prepare for winter was a catastrophic blunder, costing hundreds of thousands of lives. Logistics, food, clothing, fuel, proved more decisive than tactics. Survivor accounts reveal suffering beyond comprehension: hunger, lice, frostbite, and the all-consuming cold. Stalingrad is now a synonym for futile struggle against insurmountable odds. The battle showed how cold and hunger strip away discipline and humanity. Modern militaries study its psychological legacy. Protecting the mind is as vital as the body. The true face of the Eastern Front is not heroism, but a starving, shivering figure in a filthy cellar. The cold was an active participant, a relentless, impartial killer. The ruins of Stalingrad worn in war, the most dangerous enemy may be the world itself.